Yeah. Yo, yo, yo.
Hey, can you see and hear me okay?
Of course. What up, Olivia?
What's up?
Everything good? How's life?
Everything is good. How about you?
Everything is great. Let's get this thing rolling, man, because I think everything's working from my end. Everything's working from your end. What's up, everybody? That's a very soft intro from Nico Blitz and the lunch table, food for thought. Um, as you now know, my special guest for today, she is actually popping our cherry for these Twitch interviews. Olivia King,
Oh boy.
what's going on?
Hey, oh boy, that's a way to put it.
Right. So, a little something like that. I mean, I just got to say, like, I felt like I can start it off like that with you because your music is it's very straightforward and up there. So I'm like, okay, I can be very
That's true.
straightforward with it too.
That's true. That's very true.
Olivia, honestly, I don't know if you saw, no, you did see actually, but I tweeted earlier that I needed to take a nap right before this interview because last night, you ever have one of those nights where you just have so much creative energy going on through your brain and you're just like, dude, as much as I want to sleep, I cannot sleep right
Yep.
now.
All the time.
Yeah, when was the last time?
Probably last night.
What was going through your head last night?
I don't know. I just have so many different releases coming up. And so I was trying to just schedule all of that. I guess it was half creative, half business, marketing side of things. But a big thing with me is like I have to write everything down. So I have my planner right here by my side at all times because otherwise my brain is just like, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, so then I guess that kind of translates with everything else you do. You write your music down, I'm sure, huh?
I do. I used to write it down like physically in a notebook. And recently I've been using like the iPhone notes because if I'm co-writing with someone, we can both be in there and editing the note at the same time. So that's how I do it.
I got you. And for all of you who aren't up on Olivia King, she has a dope ass record right now called "With a Little Bit of Love." But most recently, the song I'm really feeling, Olivia, is "Take a Shot."
Oh, I'm
And
glad. I was worried when you tweeted you need a nap before you get on the interview with me. I was like, oh boy, am I just too much for him to handle or
oh
something?
no, no, no! Let me tell you this: the way your music is set up, I hate using this word, but it's very vibey. And it really
Yep.
puts me in the mood. Like that's the type of music that I grew up on, and that's the type of music
Yeah.
that I love listening to. So, shout out to David Dwayne. Once he put me on to your music, I'm like, yo, she is
Aw, thank you.
perfect. And those songs like "Take a Shot," where very reminiscent of Drake with his song "Take a Shot." Back when was that? Like "Take Care," right? I can
Hopefully I don't get in too much trouble.
hopefully not, but I wanted to ask you like, who are some of your influences? I could see like Drake is obviously one of your influences already, but
Yeah, I mean, definitely on the male side and, more modern day, but a lot of my influences are kind of more way back when with Lauryn Hill and Aretha Franklin, Marvin Gaye. Like, that's what my mom was always playing in our house, and that's just what I grew up on. And so I feel like little bits and pieces of that come through in my music. I feel like my music is super soulful, and I've tried to kind of cross over between pop to more R&B soul this past year, just because of what you said. Like, my latest music is very vibey, but I feel like that's the type of music that people crave listening to right now, because we're stressed out, we're anxious, we don't know what's going on, we just want to chill. And so that's the type of music that I was feeling during this whole quarantine, and the music that I enjoy listening to now. So try to put my own little spin on it, and put out music like that.
Well, and I want you to take this in the best way possible. When I started to feel just
Oh
like,
no.
kind of like sleepy and whatnot, listening to your music, I'm like, yes. If
Yeah.
I could listen to music and I'd be like, bro, I do not want to listen to it. Like, it's boring.
Yeah.
Your music, I'm like, yo, like, I can really fall asleep to this, like, cause your voice is just like,
Thank you.
you know. um,
I'll take that as a compliment that my music
please
puts you to
do,
sleep.
please do. I did also see you love Kaylani.
I do. I've loved her since her mixtape days. I think she's so talented, and
Come on, what do you know about that? That Cloud 19. What do you know?
I love her. I mean, she's just so cool, and I don't know, just everything about her. She's just so raw and real as an artist, and I just appreciate that.
Got you. So growing up where your parents would put you on to like Marvin Gaye and Aretha Franklin, like, were your parents musically inclined?
No. No, my family's definitely more on the athletic side than musical side. My brother actually plays for the Yankees, and it looked like he was just warming up. Now they have a game. I was like, oh no, but I think they're good. I don't think they need him to come in and relieve. So fingers crossed he doesn't come in right now. But yeah, my parents, not musical. The only musical person we had in my family was my grandmother's father, so my great grandfather. He came over from Italy and actually played the trumpet for Percy Faith back in the day. So
Wow.
that's about it. He was very talented, but kind of skipped some generations, definitely.
Right. I mean, there's no way you could have gotten like any sort of advice in this sense. Since then,
No, no, I
since
mean,
then, so go ahead.
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Yeah, I mean, I've never had that kind of mentor role in this, so it's definitely been a journey for me to try to kind of carve my own path, because I've never had someone be like, "Hey, I did this and this worked and this didn't." And so I've actually, I don't know if you saw on my Instagram profile, but I actually created a course for independent artists, because I was like, this is so important to have someone as a role model who's actually done it. And so I really wanted to do that for other artists, because I've never had that.
That's really dope of you because don't get me wrong, like I think we're all still on this like come up type of journey. I'm sure you feel like you're not nowhere near where you want to be yet, and you're
Yeah.
still kind of like on the rise. So it is kind of crazy to know that you want to set up a program for artists because there really is no guideline. I was literally just in an interview yesterday and I was saying to them like, hey, as a Filipino American boy who wants to be in music, I don't have anybody telling me A, B, and
Yeah.
C. And so,
Yeah.
like what even though you said like there wasn't really anybody to help guide you or whatnot, like why is that so important for you to help other people through their journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because I've been through a lot in the past like 10 years of my career. Started out just kind of singing at bars and clubs in Boston, and they would literally sneak me in the back because I was 15 years old, and they're like, you can't be in here, but you can perform here. So, I mean, I've just gone through a lot of kind of trials and tribulations throughout my career, and some things I wish I had kind of that mentor role to be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that, or yeah, you should have definitely done this and you didn't do it. So it's just so important to have someone like that in your life, no matter what career you're in. I think it's just so helpful to have someone you can look to that's been there, done that. And so I feel like it's important for me to be that person, because I am here, I'm doing it with you, and it's not like I'm someone telling you to do something, but I'm not doing it myself. So,
So, for
uh,
someone who has like millions of streams, a whole bunch of fans, and you even got a good little look from people from Stranger Things.
yeah.
What was the first look that you got? What was like your first gig?
Well, I think kind of the gig that changed it all was back in 2015. I did a festival in my hometown, and it was actually for like 10,000 people.
Wow.
So it was a decent sized festival, but it was a kind of end of the summer festival. And they said, hey, we would like you to come up and do an acoustic set. And I was like, if I'm going to be in front of that many people, like I want to go up there and rock it. So
Yeah.
I gave them a fake set list. This is like my claim to fame story. I gave them a fake set list, and I brought my dancers. And when they called my name to go up there, we just went up there and rocked it. We did like Bruno Mars. We did a couple
Yes.
originals. We did some like random Taylor Swift and Kendrick Lamar stuff. Like we went up there, and I was like, this is our secret set list, guys. So we're doing this. And they're like, all right, we got you. And we went up there, and the way the kids reacted was unlike anything we've ever had. Like they literally thought I was Taylor Swift. I was like, I do not get this at the clubs or the bars. Like people are drinking, people aren't paying as much attention, but at a family type festival, like they're there to listen to the music and watch the performers. So when we got up there, and especially because there was a big contrast between everyone else who was doing acoustic stuff and us, that was like my breakthrough point of like, wow, I need to start catering to this crowd. The young kids definitely seem to like what we're doing. So let me kind of gear that way. And that was kind of like my big breakthrough, and my social media at that point then really started to grow as I started to brand more that way. And kind of ever since, we've been chugging along.
So really, what you did was you pissed people off,
Well, you
but
know what?
but you made more people happy.
Exactly. I might have pissed one person off. I got off stage, and the lady was like, "That wasn't the set list you gave me," and I was like, "Sorry." I had to take advantage of the moment. If I didn't take advantage of it, I would have blended in with everyone else that was up there on their guitar, just like meh, meh, meh. So it was
I
worth it.
really, I really love that because I feel like, even though you're kind of setting some sort of like precedents for newer artists, right? Um, I think at the end of the day, it's really important to also go against the grain and take advantage of situations where you see fit.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a risk because she was like a family friend who was in charge of the show. So I didn't want to piss her off. But then again, I was like, maybe I could get away with it more because she's not going to come down too hard on me because she's a family friend. So,
You're like, yeah, we can kind of let this sliver through the cracks just a little bit, just a
yeah, she,
little.
she let it go. Because I mean, when she saw the reaction of the crowd compared to like the other people that have gone, I think she was like, all right, you probably did the right thing because you got everyone on their feet, you got everyone dancing. Like it was just a totally different vibe.
Amen to that. So I mean, that sounds like a really cool come up story, and you're still doing dope things. How have you been able to adapt to quarantine because we can't be out
I
doing
know.
concerts, doing festivals?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate to be able to have a lot of resources in my house. You see behind me like my green screen, so I do all my cover videos here in my studio. I got, photo studio, a little recording studio on this side, and I'm fortunate enough to kind of have these resources at home. A lot of people unfortunately can't go into studios right now, or they're just starting to open back up, and so they've missed out on a lot of key creation time. But I've been fortunate enough to be able to do this at my house. And a lot of people in the industry in the beginning of quarantine were really struggling, which I totally understand. A lot of producers and songwriters I work with, they were like, hey, I need this time to kind of get my thoughts together. I'm not feeling motivated. And I was honestly the exact opposite. I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this time. Obviously, I had my days where it sucked and I was anxious and felt depressed and felt weird and was questioning what the heck is going on in the world. But for the most part, especially in the beginning, I was like cranking. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to crank out at least a song a day. So I was creating my own beats. I was writing, and so that has helped me this whole entire year be able to stay super consistent, because a big piece of advice that I give anyone is consistency is key. And I really like to live up to that. And so I like to release a single every month or two at the longer end. So I've been able to do that during quarantine just with kind of the resources I have at home.
And that's what you should be doing because, I didn't follow your social media account until today. Forgive me. But but when I was scrolling through it, I just couldn't help but think to myself, like, wow, her branding is impeccable.
Thank you.
I can't believe she's been doing this for the past couple of months when everyone else's social media just seemed so frozen and just so
Yeah.
like bland. But it seems like you really had like a game plan. And I do want to talk about especially advice to artists because you give so much, but it's like even social media wise, like what type of advice would you give artists who are just starting out? Would it be to like really figure out your brand for social media? Would it be to constantly hit people with singles every week, singles every month? Like,
Yeah, I think it's just so important to stay consistent, and obviously branding is a big thing. Over the years, I've definitely kind of morphed into what I am now. And so that definitely takes time to find out what you're comfortable with, what works for you. But biggest tip of like the past couple of weeks is utilizing Reels, Instagram Reels. I was so gung-ho
here
TikTok.
we go.
And
Here we
then
go.
I know, kill me. But TikTok, I was so high on, and this happened the same way with Snapchat when Instagram came out with Instagram stories. I was like, there's no chance I'm switching over from Snapchat to Instagram stories. And then I saw my views were a lot better on Instagram stories. So I was like, and put Snapchat to the side. Now it's the same thing with TikTok. Like Reels, I think has a lot of potential, and TikTok is so up in the air that you got to keep adapting with the times. And I've really found a lot of success on Reels. Just growing my following in the past couple weeks has been drastically different than before Reels launched.
Now, how have you seen that translate to your actual music? Because, more times I'll find an artist who has like 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, and then they have like 20 monthly streamers on their
Yeah.
stuff. Whereas for you, it's like yours are really like up to par with each other.
Yeah, it's really important. Not all the time does it correlate across platforms. And, you could have, like you said, you could have a million followers on TikTok and you could have 10K on Instagram. Like it doesn't always correlate. So you just really need to put the effort into each platform. You can't just think, hey, because I have an Instagram following, all of them are going to come over and listen to my music. I really make sure that I do the marketing on Spotify and make sure that everything is directed on each platform instead of just like crossing my fingers and hoping like, hey, let's hope everyone on my Instagram listens to my song. I really make sure that I have a full drawn out game plan for marketing of the single, not just on social media.
Mm-hmm. The music videos are on point. I do want to talk about this one social media post that you did have.
Oh boy.
It had me dying, and at that point, I was
Oh
like,
no.
I'm officially a fan of Olivia King.
Oh no, what was
I'm
it?
I'm scrolling through, and then all I see is like this office video. I'm like, what is she talking about? And then it
You
was the
scrolled
clip.
back far.
It was the clip of Michael Scott telling everybody that he basically got a vasectomy
Yeah.
twice, and it was to promote your single "Cut You Off." I'm like, no,
Well,
like no, she did it.
that was not even like a promo scheme. That is real life. I got the "Cut You Off" snip snap snip snap chorus that I wrote from like I'm a diehard Office fan, and
Same.
for some reason that was in my head when I was listening to this beat. So random, but true life that The Office really did inspire my "Cut You Off" song.
So someone got a vasectomy?
No, it was just a snip snap in my head. No, not the actual vasectomy story about it. Just the words he was saying: snip snap, snip snap.
Because I'm telling you, I'm over here reading it. I'm like, damn, somebody got a vasectomy for her? That is crazy.
No. Just had those words in my head from Michael Scott.
What was the inspiration behind that particular record though? Cut You Off.
Well, it was right before Valentine's Day, and I had
Oh,
this label. Yeah, I know. I had this label reach out to me, and they were like, "Hey, we'd love to do a single deal with you." They're in the UK, and they said, "But like, we need it like now because we're pitching to the show Love Island." And I had never watched the show. Have you watched it?
not one bit.
Well, it is like so much drama. It's pretty much like the UK version of The Bachelor. And so I was like, all right, I got to study this show and try to come up with a song for this show. And that's what came out of it because they're like the amount of drama of thinking that you're with someone and then they go after some other girl. Like it was just crazy. So that was the song that I came up with for that opportunity.
Are you into watching that type of shows or?
I mean,
Because
I'm not gonna lie. Yes.
hey, whatever you like, you like. I can't judge
Yeah,
it.
no, The Bachelor is definitely my guilty pleasure. I do not miss a week. Like I pretty much
You
only
get a
have
rose.
cable.
You get a
Yeah,
rose.
I
You get a
literally only
rose.
have cable for The Bachelor. I don't watch anything else on cable.
Oh, you're not on like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. You know that's officially canceled now, right?
I know I just saw that on Instagram. I had watched that a lot when I was like younger. And then I don't know, recently I haven't tuned in as much. So maybe that's why they canceled because less people were tuning in. I don't know. But it's, I mean, to have your life filmed for 14 years of your life is a lot.
It really is. I mean, to be fair, we kind of self-document ourselves
Yeah.
every single day, and
Yeah.
people do get the opportunity to watch it. And
I
those
mean, they
are
were definitely the originators of that. I feel like vlogging started with like the Kardashian show. Like they are definitely the OG of everything reality.
oh yeah. Do being an artist who has been in the spotlight and is in quarantine doing every single thing by herself, like, do you ever struggle with um, privacy and that price of fame? Because when you're famous, obviously you lose that privacy.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I think of a lot because there's, I mean, you just see how people are. Like, it must suck when you get out of the car and like you can't even get to where you're going or you can't go to the store. That's definitely something I always think about. But I think the payoff is much bigger than kind of those. It's a risk reward type thing. I mean, music is something that I've wanted to do my whole life. So if I get to that point where I have to deal with that, that's something that I'm definitely prepared for and willing to take on.
So how'd your parents take it when you wanted to take the music route? Because you mentioned that your family is more athletically inclined.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because when I was going to college, my mom was like, "You don't have to go to college. Like I know that's not what you want to do. So why don't you just do your music, get a job, don't be in debt?" And I was like, "Is that a normal thing that parents say? Probably not."
Mm.
And I didn't listen to her. I went to college just because all my friends were doing it. That sounds so dumb, but technically with what I'm with what I'm doing now, I didn't need that, but I wouldn't give that up because of all the people I met there, the different connections. I mean, my main songwriter I work with on all of my songs I met in college. My dancers I met in college. Like there were a lot of great connections that I made there, even though I'm not technically using my degree. So my parents were super supportive from the get-go. They didn't know necessarily how to help, but they just always supported what I was doing.
Hmm. So then, like, moving with like a supportive family, but also going to college and not necessarily using your degree. What is something that you wish like you could have had to help you during those times?
I think, like I've been saying, like I never had a mentor. So someone in the industry that may have either been there, done that, or was some sort of a music executive that could have been like, hey, let me take you under my wing. That would have been awesome. So I didn't have to navigate everything myself. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you grow more trying to do it all yourself. I've learned so much over the past 10 years or so of doing this that, I mean, every path is right for each person. So I just got to believe that this is my path.
Amen to that. During quarantine, we actually experienced the death of Breonna Taylor, and yeah, I did see on your Instagram that you did participate in Blackout Tuesday.
Yeah.
You being a part of this R&B realm, pop R&B realm, where it is predominantly black, like
Yeah.
why did you decide to take a stand not only that day, but you obviously take that stance moving forward too?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really important to me. With my song right before this most recent single, it was called With a Little Bit of Love. And I, I felt so helpless, and I feel like a lot of people felt that way. Like you're watching all of these things that are just so heartbreaking, and you're like, what can I do to change this? Like, how can I be a part of this change? And I mean, the only way I really knew how to do that was through my music. So with my
Mm.
single, With a Little Bit of Love, I was like, you know what? Let me try to find a great program that is right in the thick of everything Black Lives Matter and see how I can partner with them. So that's what I did for that song. So proceeds from my royalties are going to this program. And we created a whole King t-shirt where all the proceeds are going to this program. It's actually called the Turning Leaf
Saw that.
Project. Yeah, and they're just so awesome where they're going. Like I can just see the potential of them. And so just a quick synopsis of their program. I found them on TikTok because their videos were going viral. It's the men that are recently out of prison, and they immediately give them a job screen printing t-shirts, and then over the course of 4 months they give them group therapies, and then they get them into a position where they get a real full-time job, and they make sure that that happens for them. And I just believe that it's so important to give people second chances. Not all the time do you do it right on the first try, so it's important to give people that second chance. And I just saw what they were doing, and I just thought it was awesome and wanted to be involved. And this was a way that not only could I give back, but I could also give people an easy way to also help. So, I mean, you get a cute $20 t-shirt, and it's also going towards a cause that maybe you kind of feel helpless and you're not sure what else to do besides, you know, go on social media, post about it, protest. Like there's only so much that I felt like I could do. So this whole partnership was huge for me.
Amen to you, Olivia. I really mess with that, honestly. And, I
Thank you.
think with that being said, like, all of us should get together and do just one little thing to help out. You don't have to go out and protest. I didn't go out and
Yeah.
protest. I actually started like a whole Nike run club, and we raised
Yeah.
like maybe $800 that we donated to a Black Lives Matter charity.
Yeah, that's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? Like there's so many different ways we can go about it.
Yeah.
So as individuals and as a community, let's continue doing that for our black brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I think it's so important. And I think our generation is like the breakthrough generation. I see so much of a difference between like our parents' generation and their parents. Like, although it seems like it's getting worse all of a sudden this year, I just think we're bringing it to light. And this is only going to help it in the end.
Well, let me tell you this, because not a lot of people have thought the way I think about 2020, right? We
Yeah.
obviously get hit with quarantine back in March, and then the protests happened like a couple months ago and are still going to this day.
Yeah.
and there's still a lot of BS happening in the world. I mean, there
Yeah.
was like a freaking fire tornado happening over here in California the other day, you know? But my point being is that I'm looking at everything and saying, like, hey, I think even more so, this is the year in which we all backpedal and kind of
Mhm.
take a step back and just reflect about everything that's going on the outside and internally.
Yeah.
Like, I dealt with not being accepted in the communities I'm at over here, but now after reflecting for a couple months, I feel good to go.
Yeah.
Everything is ready. Did you
Yeah.
find something, like, even though we are still in quarantine, did you find out something about yourself that you didn't know pre-quarantine?
Well, I just thought it was so cool to see, like, when we don't have anywhere to go, who you kind of rely on. And like everyone was Zoom calling with their families. And I was spending a lot more time on like the things that really should matter in life and not making excuses like, oh, I can't go see my mom because I got to do this. I can't go see my grandparents because I got to do this. Like, there are certain things in life that I think are really important. And I feel like this year just kind of brought all of those things to light and kind of, like you said, kind of made us backpedal and be like, wait, what's really important? Like, our health is super important. Our families are super important. What we love to do is super important. Like I think it really opened a lot of people's eyes. I know it did for me, to just what's really important in life.
Amen to that. Olivia, so you have Take a Shot out right now. Can we expect a music video for that?
You know what? Potentially, it's so hard with quarantine. I've had to get really creative with how I go about things just because I've been trying to still be as quarantined as possible. My mom takes care of my elderly grandfather, and I just don't want to get him exposed to anything. So I've been trying to be really creative with how I do things. Like, my one of my first releases during quarantine was a song called Sugar High. So I just used my green screen. I filmed it all myself, did my whole makeup, hair, figured it all out, and did that. So I think if nothing else, it'll be some sort of a creative vibe. I have a lyric video out now with a girl who did this animation that was pretty crazy. She like people on Fiverr. I don't know if you've ever used Fiverr, but
I love Fiverr.
they're so talented, and I almost feel bad for the amount that I pay some of them because I'm like, your work is so amazing. You don't need to put it on there for $5. But I mean, it's such a cool resource, and I found this awesome graphic designer on there, and she made this artwork for me, and then I had someone kind of put it into motion so that it was kind of on a loop for the lyric video. So I was happy with how that came out.
Even though you like, obviously paid for those graphics and whatnot, you are the living, breathing embodiment of your album DIY.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. Yeah, it was important that I named my first album DIY because I definitely am like full blown DIY artist.
100%. I mean, you got everything in the back. You could figure out how to get your graphics done. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. If I was your manager, it's like, I don't know what else I could ask from you. Like, you knew
Well,
everything already.
that I mean that's kind of what's hard. I do have a manager, and he's kind of like a consultant role now, which is awesome. In the past couple of years, he's come on to my team, and he does say things like that. He's like, Liv, I don't even know what to do for you. Like, what can I do for you? And I'm like, I just need you there just in case I need you. But I've just always been that type of person just in life, and especially in my career, where I love being hands on. I love the business aspect of the industry. And I feel like a lot of artists aren't, either they don't like it or they're not knowledgeable in it. And that's something that I've studied since I was little, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy doing everything myself.
So, since you've been through the trenches of the music industry for like 10 years, you can do realistically anything you put your mind to, or so it seems. Like, what is something that you fear?
Mm, It's funny because I was just doing a live stream interview and someone in the chat said that tonight. What's your biggest fear? And I mean, I said two things that more had to do with life in general. Like, obviously, I fear dying. That freaks me out. So I'm like, I believe that there is something after this, but it's just so unknown. So that freaks me out. And then I said not having kids. But I mean, a big fear of mine, just career wise, is obviously I want to be as successful as possible. And I always say, like, there's never been someone that said I worked my ass off and never got anywhere. So that's kind of what I live by, is like, if you work hard enough, you're gonna get to that place. But obviously there's always in the back of my head, like, oh, I just want to reach this level of success. And what if I don't do it? Like, that is definitely a big fear of mine. I think that's what pushes me to just work harder and harder.
Amen to that. Olivia, so we're just going to get through a round of like super quick questions and answer everything as quick as possible.
Okay, I'll try.
So your top 3 office moments.
Oh, like The Office?
The Office.
Oh boy. Okay, definitely Snip Snap, because that just like it's just hilarious. When Dwight sings the Ryan started the fire song.
Fire guy.
Ryan started the fire. And then the whole dinner party episode in itself with the snip, snap, like, it's so awkward between Michael and Jan. It's just
they ended up like throwing all the furniture and whatnot around, huh?
So bad. Yeah, so those got to be my top 3.
That was a great episode. Obviously we're on the lunch table, so what's your favorite thing to eat for lunch?
Lately, I've been trying to diet, so it's been like salads or like an egg with some ham and cheese, which they're still very good. But I mean, my preference is a nice sandwich.
See, look, I'm trying to do keto diet. I gotta cut out the sandwiches.
Same. That's the diet I've been on since June.
And it's helped out?
It has. How long have you been on it?
I'm going on a trip this weekend, so I'm gonna start next Monday.
Oh yeah, that's what they all say. No, it's actually it's been good for me. I've lost 10 pounds since June, so it's kind of slower, but I mean, with quarantine, I was eating so much that I was like, oh my God, I need to shave this off. I was baking things and cooking all this stuff, and I'm like, whoa, I need to slow down.
Got you. All-time favorite R&B artist?
If we're counting Lauryn Hill as R&B, definitely her.
Why Lauryn Hill?
She is just like the epitome of cool. My mom introduced me to her, and then it kind of came full circle, and I took my mom to a Lauryn Hill concert like 2 years ago. And she can just, I mean, she's 40 plus easy and can just stand there, not do a thing, but just sing her heart out. And she's just the epitome of cool. She's so talented.
Dang. Well, also shout out to your mom for introducing.
I know that was a big one for her to introduce me to.
Favorite baseball team?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Yankees because my brother plays. That's a clown question.
I was just trying to trap you. I was wholeheartedly just trying to trap you with that one. I'm so
clown question.
And last question. Who is somebody that you've always wanted to work with?
I mean,
as a producer, as an artist, dead
probably,
or alive?
Probably Pharrell. I mean, once you said producer, that's the first person that came to my mind. Like, I just think he's so talented in so many different areas. I mean, as far as like the big diva female artists go, obviously the Beyoncés of the world, Ariana Grande's, Lauryn Hill's, but I mean, producer-wise would definitely be Pharrell.
I can definitely see you on a Pharrell beat, because I've seen Pharrell produce like very slow songs, and I'm like, okay, if we get that combination for the slow song Pharrell with you, I think it'll just go up.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
Olivia King, thank you so much for stopping by the lunch table. I really appreciate you. Do you have anything to say to all the people streaming right now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely go check out my song Take a Shot. I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to at this time. And I've been trying to make music that's for what we're going through in life right now. And so I just hope people can enjoy that. The song is called Take a Shot. You can find me everywhere across the board, Olivia King Music, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, you name it, Olivia King Music.
There you go. Well, this is the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Thank you so much to Olivia King for stopping by the lunch table. Peace,
Thank you so
everybody.
much for having me.
Later, Olivia.
Bye.